Hi everyone, my name is Carly and I'm the Community Activation and Learning Officer for Melton City Council based at the Kurunjang Community Hub. Today I'm going to show you how to make a bit of a lockdown staple. It's just a really simple banana bread. So to start you'll need 3 ripe bananas, a quarter of a cup of melted butter, 1 egg, a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of baking soda, 1 cup of sugar, and 1.5 cups of flour. Now I've also added just half a cup of Brazil nuts. You don't have to do that. You can add whatever nuts or any additional fruit you might want. Sometimes I add half a cup of frozen raspberries. Now to start, you need to mash up your bananas and you need them to be super ripe. Now these ones aren't super ripe just yet, but I can show you a little hack how to ripen them really quickly. So to quickly ripen your bananas, just place them on a fully lined tin. The reason we line the tin or tray is that they will sometimes over-ripen in the oven and burst out a little bit and they'll make a bit of a mess. So just line your little tray, put them in an oven that's been preheated to 150 degrees Celsius, and then leave them in there until their skins start to blacken, and take them out once their skins are completely blackened. Okay, so I've just placed the 3 bananas in the oven on a lined, I've just used a pizza tray. So that oven's been preheated to 150 degrees. Now I'll keep an eye on them and just set a timer for probably every 5 minutes or so, and that'll just prompt me to come and check them, and once their skins are fully blackened we can take them out to use them. Okay, so that took about 20 minutes, but my bananas have ripened completely in that oven and they're really smushy. So I've just let them cool down a little bit before I'm handling them, obviously. So you just empty these out into a bowl, and this is where you'll mix all your wet ingredients first. So I've let them cool down for about 10 or 15 minutes, so they're really quite cool to touch. Okay, so to the bananas you add your melted butter, which I've already put in there, 1 egg, and the sugar. Now you just mix those up a little bit. Now you can use a fork, you can use a spatula, you can use whatever you want at this point. And just mash it all up and mix the sugar and the other wet ingredients into the bananas. Okay, so I've mixed the butter, sugar, and bananas together with 1 egg in this bowl. Now in another bowl, just put your salt and your bicarb soda in with the flour. And just mix them through a little bit so you know that the bicarb and the salt is easily distributed throughout the flour before you add it to the wet ingredients. Now this is the point where you can also add your nuts or any other additional ingredients you want to add to your banana bread. So I'm just going to mix the nuts into the wet mixture first, and that way they get suspended throughout the whole mix and they won't settle to the bottom. All right, so then to that mixture, add your salt, bicarb and flour that you've mixed up separately in another little section, in another bowl. Okay, and then you gently just start to fold that in. You want this batter to be just mixed, so you don't want to be too heavy-handed with it. You can also do this in a stand mixer and just use the low setting, as you don't want to over mix it. Okay, so I've mixed my batter together and it has just come together. Now keep in mind, when I mashed all my wet ingredients up, I left the bananas quite chunky because I don't like it to be too smushy. I still want to have pieces of banana in the bread when we eat it. So next you'll put it into a prepared tin. Now to prepare your tin, you can line it with baking paper. I generally just use a spray oil, so this is just a canola spray oil. And I'll just spray that in. And then I put a little bit of flour and just spread the flour around the tin. Now I use this lining technique with all cakes that I bake and any baking that I do. I just feel it's a lot easier than trying to cut up a bunch of different pieces of baking powder, paper to try and fit all the different tins. So just put get any excess flour out of that tin. So that's fully lined with oil and flour. So now you just add your prepared batter into that tin and place it into an oven that's been preheated to 165 degrees Celsius. So when I took the bananas out, they were at 150. I just turned the oven up that 15 degrees and it was ready to go pretty quickly. So just put your batter into the prepared tin. Okay, so I put that mix in the bread tin that I've got. Now, if you don't have a bread tin, you can use a normal cake tin, obviously. Just keep in mind that depending on how wide that cake tin is, your batter might be a bit thinner. So your bread may be a little bit lower than it will rise in here. But you can adjust your quantities in the recipe if you are using different shaped or sized tins. Now this will go into an oven that's been preheated, like I said earlier, to 165 degrees, and it takes about an hour. So just keep an eye on it. You'll be able to touch the top. If it springs back slightly, it means it's ready. You can also use a toothpick or a skewer. Just put it in the center. If it comes out clean, it means it's ready. So we'll put that in the oven now and we'll check it in about 45 to 50 minutes and just keep an eye on it while it's in the oven. Okay, so we've put the tin in the oven that's been preheated to 165 degrees. I'll come back in about 50 minutes or so and just check on it then, but it should take about an hour, and I'll check with a toothpick or a skewer to see if it's ready. Okay, so it's been about 50 minutes in the oven. As you can see, it's risen quite nicely. Now we will just check with a toothpick. It's a nice golden brown color on top. Now it is a little bit smushy, but I did have quite big pieces of banana in mine. Now I'm just going to test it in a few spots. That seems to be coming out clean in all the areas that I'm poking. So I'm pretty happy to take that out now. So what I'll do is I'll take it out, leave it in the tin for about 10 minutes. And then after it's been in the tin for about 10 minutes, that's when we can flip it out and put it on a cooling rack. So I'll take it out now. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes since I took this out of the oven. So the tin's still quite warm, but it's okay to handle. So what I'll do is I'm just going to place it out on a cooling rack now. And as you'll see, the way I lined that tin, it comes out quite easily. Nothing sticks. So just gently flip it over. And there's your finished banana bread. Now you can have it and cut it up now, fresh out of the oven, or you can keep it in the fridge for a couple of days and then just heat up pieces as they go. You can as well freeze it. It'll keep in the freezer quite well for a couple of months. My advice would be to cut it into pre-cut slices, and that way you can just freeze it in slices and toast them or pop them in the oven to reheat them as you choose. That's our simple banana bread recipe. If you'd like any other activities to do in lockdown, have a look at our Melton Learning Directory YouTube channel and have a look at our Facebook page as well. We've got quite a big array of online classes and other things you can have a look at to do in lockdown. The ingredients, the recipe, and also how to quickly ripen your banana instructions will be in the description below this video on our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching today, and I hope you have a great day.